Alright, first thing we're looking at here is I have a whole bunch of these people-sized characters in the Lego set. I have an assortment of these in different colors. This one almost has like a person in a suit vibe. The way you slide the back of the Godzilla over the top is almost like you're dressing up the actor in the Godzilla suit. But for this being a knockoff, the detail is extremely high here, especially on this scale. You have like these little veins or ridges from the scales across its body. It's got a pretty cool little paint app here, or sticker decal across the stomach here. The paint application is spot on. I don't see any flaws in any of the ones I have here with the dorsal plates, no smudging. They also have some of these translucent ones. Same articulation, same design, everything. But there's various colors. You can get this translucent red, you can get translucent blue, purple, green, pretty much any color. I just picked red because it kind of lines up with the burning Godzilla look, where I can have Godzilla start out in regular form, start to heat up, get hotter until he's charcoaled, and then right before he self-destructs in burning Godzilla mode. Those are just the colors I picked. On a side note, not quite Godzilla, but there are Ultraman bootleg Lego sets. So it's all hard plastic. On this though, the end pieces, the hand, the claws, are extremely soft vinyl rubbery. It was quite difficult to get these put into the arm sleeves. You have to kind of firmly put pressure on the piece, on the ends where they meet, and then twist this rubbery piece to get it to slide in correctly. Otherwise, this will just bend and you won't pop it in the correct way. But I'm gonna pop the head off. Oh, nope. That's one thing about these knockoff Lego sets, is the pieces are very loose. You'll see more of that later. But look how nice this all original sculpt here is. It's quite a large piece. There are other Ultraman knockoff Lego sets available where you can buy pieces to build buildings and like a little environmental diorama set. The ones I saw were quite expensive, but I got these for I think less than $1 each. And I also have this Standalone Ghidorah figure here. I don't believe he's a part of any other set, although I've seen him advertised with other pieces, which we'll get to later. But the scale and the design seems like he's his own piece. One of the most notable key differences here is that this one only has one tail, or it doesn't branch off into two tails like the official design does. Unfortunately, the joints are loose enough that he constantly slouches over on mine. It's probably going to be like that on most figures. So while there's articulation, don't expect him to maintain any posability. And here's the M38 brand Godzilla King of the Monsters Lego knockoff. I finally assembled it. It took a while because some of the pieces are extremely loose here. It's hard to put one piece in without other pieces falling out. I would highly recommend gluing this together. I did tweak it a little bit. I don't understand why, but you're supposed to have them spiked out like this. Wait a minute. Which doesn't quite make sense. So I just tuck these down here on the side for my own preference. But there's articulation joints, several in the tail here, although some of them will collide and pop off if you bend them the wrong way. It's very hard to keep all the spines in place, but you can technically repose almost all of these spines into different angles. We have shoulder, elbow, wrist, and fingers. Go up the jaw. Articulation in the toes, ankles, knees, hips. I have no idea where that just fell off of. I really want to give you a demonstration, but I'm not going to go through reassembling this. I'm not quite sure what kind of look they're going for here with the gears on the elbow here, because they don't actually connect. It's not like they spin or anything, but it gives it more of a mechanized look, and I feel more comfortable calling this Mechagodzilla. Especially with pieces like this down here. So it's almost like he has these foot cannons. Oh, and that just came loose. Let me just show you. So this end doesn't actually attach to anything, and they're posable to lift up. I thought maybe at first it was supposed to tilt downward here some to give it kind of like a sloping effect, a sloping look. But then they could have just used like a curvy part to cover up that. But so it appears to be attentional in addition to the gears. And even here on the elbows, technically it says these are supposed to point out like that, which make no sense at all if this is just regular Godzilla. So it's advertised as Godzilla, but it's apparently supposed to be Mechagodzilla. So I just tilt these back here and tuck them in to make his arms look a little more beefy at the elbows. There's almost like these little cannon things down here. They don't tell you to plug anything into them. They rotate. And there's cannons in the knees here. Yeah, I guess when you open up the mouth too, the fact that it has, instead of having teeth, it has like almost like Gigan-like pincers. Now, I'm not saying that's inspired by Gigan, but it gives it more of a robotic look. So this is now officially, by Giant Muncie standards, M38 Mechagodzilla. Overall, it's not a really bad design. It's just the face ends up so goofy. While we're on the subject of this Godzilla figure here, from the same company, there's also this is just called Godzilla. I imagine it's supposed to be like a Chibi or a Funko Pop figure, but I think it's more along the lines of like a baby Godzilla. So mine, unfortunately, dealing with knockoffs, it was only a matter of time until you get a set that is missing pieces. Unfortunately for mine here, if you look at these rounding edge pieces here, I'm missing one here. I was one shy to finish this side here. Technically in the instructions, this bridge of the nose here, right between the eyes, this isn't the correct piece to use. I was short a piece on that too. So I did have a spare of this rougher edge looking one, so I put that in there. I think that actually works pretty well. And then one of those round pieces that are supposed to go here is also supposed to go underneath the tail right along here to create a more rounded tail look. I was unfortunately short for that one too. But for a $5 set, it's not that bad. This one actually holds together better than anything else, probably because it's such a small figure. I mean, it's larger than these, but much smaller than this Mechagodzilla back here. There's also the M38 Rodan. It has these papery cardboard sleeves that you attach to the edges here. One thing you'll notice is if you get this set, the cardboard sleeve, like I said, the whole item's not packaged very well, so you will get these cardboard wings. They will be stored inside the instruction booklet, and because they're not packaged very well, they'll probably be crinkled and wrinkled. Even just getting these to stand for a display is very difficult. Some of the joints are very loose and weak, so they fall over easily. Now, I did do something a little bit different on mine here. The way they had this corner here described in the book, the arms would have been folded in behind the head. I mean, it's displayed like this in the instruction booklet, but the way the instruction booklet tells you to do it ends up putting the arms behind the head incorrectly. So maybe the instruction booklet was wrong, or maybe I just can't figure it out. But I'm happy with the way this one turned out. Finally, in regards to these M38, the green Ghidorah, which it makes no sense that he's green, but it still looks pretty awesome. This one was the biggest wreck for me. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe the dorsal plates on the back of Godzilla compete with this for worst experience. So yeah, once again, I would love to show you the articulation of this, but it's a disaster when you're dealing with Rodan and Ghidorah. These paper wings, they act almost like, oh, there goes something. These little nubs here, these dark circular things at the top of the wings, they're little caps to hold the paper wings in place. However, the paper wings are stiff enough and the caps are loose enough that the slightest bend will pop these loose and they will go launching across the room. So be prepared to lose some of those. Luckily, mine came with a few extra ones. I've already lost one. However, if I lose any more, I'm out of luck. So after I'm done with this video, I will be crawling around on the floor looking for it. And finally, 3 of these alternate color versions of Godzilla here, they're often listed on websites as being from the same series as that Ghidorah figure, but they're definitely not, although I could be wrong. So for articulation here, the arms can do almost a 360. Mouth, nice tight little joints there, and then the head can go from a looking upward pose of that far. The spines actually can roll back into the middle spines here to allow for this posability. And then you can also put them forward this far. You can get almost like a hunched over chibi kind of look. And this currently is my entire Godzilla and Kaiju Lego knockoffs.